Good morning, all, and welcome to our intraday session this morning. Okay, so let's have a quick look. I know we're basically about 4 minutes ahead of schedule, but there's something I wanted you guys to see. We're running with our normal different setups for today, and so far at this point, we've got our three moving average system actually showing us an entry condition today. Now, I'm just waiting for the confirmation on this. So it's going to be 3 minutes before we really get anything happening with it. And once that happens, we can take the entry. It's going to be a short. And remember, with this one, we have a different type of target. We've got a 3% instead of a 2. Okay. Uh, Big reason being is that we did the tests and that kind of thing, and we've seen that it is working um, in terms of aiming for bigger profits. Okay, we do get much more profits aiming for the 3%er. The only thing though is that it does shut down the hit rate by a bit less. So one or two things you got to kind of feel out for yourself. Are you comfortable with having a lower hit rate, and can you emotionally stand a smaller hit rate? Okay, remember, it's easier to trade a system that's got a high hit rate because it feels like you're going to be winning every single one. But when you're only going to have 40% of winners, um, it does become a bit difficult emotionally to handle sometimes. And those are the play-ups you're going to, the choices you're going to have to make for yourself. What do you feel more comfortable with? And, would you be fine running with those type of odds in your favor? For me, like I say, the key factor is profits. That's what it's about. I don't care what the hit rate is. Okay. Um, the whole factor is making sure that you don't get into a dangerous drawdown with a low hit rate. And luckily enough, with this system, we only get about what I think max 13% drawdown. So it's a very light drawdown. Um, it is a low hit rate, but it's a good, profitable system. Yeah, and that's what I like about it. So we're trading that one on 15-minute charts, and that gets traded right throughout the day, okay, from 9 till 5. Now, with this one in particular, like I said, we're basically got a minute left, and then we're going to have the confirmation for the short entry. Okay, so I should probably just get my calculator ready, and let's have a look at what we have got. Okay, so let's quickly get that out. Okay, calculator. That means we've got 998, and we divide that by, okay, confirmed. Let's grab our crosshair. We do our measurement from current price until most recent high low, which is basically there. That's 144, 144. Okay, so we're going to enter the trade. Our volume 6.93. Sell, and we're in. We set a stop. And the target is going to be 3 times the distance. Okay, so if it's 144, we should be looking at 332, if I'm right. That's as good as we're going to get it. Okay, there's the target, 3%. Okay, and that's it. We just leave this and let it run now. Okay, now 15-minute wise, this is coming down. What's happening on the 5-minute? 5-minute, I don't think I'll have a stochastic setup. Let's just pull this back to normal. Yeah, that's gone down quite a bit. this is the original stochastic move actually. So that was a nice move there. Okay, you can see the divergence clearly. Check here. Boom, boom. Now that one was before our session, so therefore we never really would have gotten that signal. If we did, however, I just want to show you guys, um, we would have entered basically roughly at that point. We would have had our stop set basically there and twice the distance. So we clearly would have had a winner for that one. Okay. Um, but that move has happened. Can't worry about that anymore. So we're just going to have to wait and see if anything else is going to pop up in terms of that. But we are in for 3 moving average setup. And that's running nicely. So can't complain about that whatsoever. Um, let's have a look. Okay, everything else looks good. Okay, so now, like I said, guys, now it's just waiting, okay, and seeing what's happening, what's gonna happen, and that kind of thing. Uh, like I said, we had the connection in terms, or the entry for the 3 moving average system. We're in for that one. That one's got a 3% target, remember? Okay, so it's a bit larger. You still get profits if you run the 2% rate, but the profits aren't as great as the 3% target. Just remember, for the 3% target, you are playing kind of, I want to say again, where you're going to have a lot less winners. Okay, so your winners are a lot less. So you get some winners turning into losers and so forth. But we do make more profits. And that's the main thing for me. For me personally, it's all about the profits. It's just not about how often I'm correct. Okay. That's got nothing to do with trading. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. What you guys need to kind of get into a habit of is being fine with those trades moving against you. Okay, because that's the thing that kills everyone, that makes it very difficult, to maintain. It's an emotional battle within yourself. You know? So just be careful in terms of just jumping for something straight off the bat with a low hit rate. Um, try it on a demo account first, get a feel for it, and see if you can maintain it emotionally. Okay, it does become even more of an emotional problem when you actually go live with it. Okay, so what I'd recommend is just play around with a couple of different systems, and this is the big thing. You have got to backtest the system and prove to yourself that it actually works. Okay, otherwise you're always going to be struck with doubt with your entries, and that doubt is the biggest killer for any trader whatsoever. So be careful of just jumping in for anything. You want to test it. You want to make sure that it's going to run smoothly, and that you get a feel and an idea for the normal flow based on history. With all of that in play, it should be a lot easier and simpler to kind of keep with the normal type of running of that system, because you're already expecting, most of the flows. So it just makes it a lot simpler. Okay, right. So we're just going to keep an eye on this and see what happens. Okay. Remember, guys, if there's any questions that do pop up, by all means, just type it into the chat feature. Okay. For those of you on the registration link, you can try and go and check on your emails. I did send through the Hangouts link, so you can join in on that one if you want to as well. But just use the contact us feature to type in any messages or questions that you've got, and I'll tackle them. Okay. Right. So, like I said, we're just going to need to give this time up. Here's the thing. The these three moving average setup trades, they can run for quite a couple of days. Okay, it's because they've got a much larger time frame than 5 minutes for compared to my stochastic setup, and also the flows, because we're aiming for a 3% target. It takes a little bit longer to get to that point. So we're probably only going to see this hit target tomorrow or the day after. Okay, um, but we're in. That's the good thing. Everything's set up beautifully. This could be that mover that we've been waiting for. Okay, remember last week we had quite an alright day and that kind of thing. Two losers, one winner. We ended up with just a slight loss, and that was basically only the cost for our trades that we lost there. Okay, didn't go too well, took us out, and I can think, and the third one went beautifully. So there was no worries whatsoever in terms of what happened with that. I'm quite happy with the way it went. Could have gone worse. We could have had three losers, but in the end, the day kind of played out to a break even. And well, we're definitely going to have certain days where we're going to have losers, and that happens, guys. That happens often. You might even have, remember, with a system that has a low hit rate, you are going to have most days being losers. Be aware of these things. That's why the back testing is so important. Such a huge feature. It's the one thing that is going to make sure that you understand what to expect with the results. And that is going to put your mind at ease with seeing the way in which the system runs itself as well. Because if you see that you've got quite a couple of losers coming in a row, and you can see in your back testing that it has happened before, then you're going to feel a lot more confident because that's all part of the normal flow for the system. Once it starts going past that extreme, okay, and we call it basically a warning trigger or signal, then what we do is we gauge and see if it surpasses our worst case scenario. If it does, then we know that, hey, wait, something's up. Okay, the market is most likely changing direction or changing its cycles, its flows, and the system might not be working anymore. And that's the best point then to kind of just take a pause, take a breather, and just continue with demo trading to see whether it gets back into its normal cycles. Okay, that way we don't get stuck into the wrong type of chart movement for extended periods of time, and we save ourselves from all of those extra losers that could have been popped up. That's the difference. Okay, we tackle this with a mathematical approach. We make sure that we know what we need to do at every single point. If you're unsure of what you need to do, you just don't take the trade. It's that simple. Okay. Right. So we're just going to wait for that to do its thing. It's going to be quite a while before we get any other type of setup happening. So like I said, like I said, if there's any questions and that kind of thing that you'd like me to tackle or so forth, while we're waiting for any other setup to happen, by all means, use the time. I mean, we've got a full 3 hours, so might as well tackle some other questions and issues and that kind of thing while we're waiting for any other setups. We're already in one, like I said, we're in with a moving average setup. 3% target on that one. I'll just show you guys exactly again where the target is. Stops there, and let's just get rid of this horizontal line now. Just use that as the example for, yep, there's our stop. There's our target. Okay, so we're waiting for those lows over there to be broken. And that's it. Okay, but everything's set up beautifully. We got a confirmation. So we had the bearish trend being confirmed, had the stochastic cross happening. And here's the thing, it doesn't have to be above the 80 level. It can even be a cross like that can be traded. Okay, as long as it's a downward cross, it has to happen when the three moving average setup is set up perfectly for a bearish cycle, and then vice versa for the buyers as well. Okay, so we're just gonna have to wait a little while now and see exactly what this is gonna do. Okay, let's quickly look at the 5 minute, see if there's anything new coming on there. Okay, 5 minutes not really showing anything at this point. There's no divergence stochastic wise. Um, and if we have a look, like I said, we had the signal and divergence at the tops earlier, but that was out of our trading session, so we never would have traded it. But that was a good move. That one actually would have gained profits. I was pulling back up. Let's have a look at the 15 again, see if that's setting anything up at the bottoms. Nope, nothing. Well, technically, we're going to have to wait and give it a bit more time because, I mean, this can still do anything. But let me show you. Well, let's see if you guys can spot it actually. That'll be good. Good exercise. Can you spot the divergence? Well, okay, it's going to be difficult to spot, but there's possible divergence. See that? Now this could go lower and lower, and this could force the stochastic over here to drop below that point. That cancels out the divergence. Okay. But there's nothing we can do with it at this point in time. We're just going to need to wait and have it do its thing. Okay, like I mentioned, if there's any questions, by all means, shoot, guys, shoot. For tonight's end of day session with the Ichimoku, I think we've got a entry maybe that could be popping up. I've been waiting for that one specifically. Yesterday it gave the signal, so today it should be confirmed, which means we'll probably have an entry for the end of day trades. And we can just, kind of have a look and see what the rest are doing. There's going to be some brilliant examples that I can show you guys of, why I didn't take certain trade setups. Um, and it just shows you it keeps us out of those false signals. So if you can read the Ichimoku quite well, it's it's such a powerful system, And the trick key is being able to almost see 3 steps in advance and judge what you're going to do. Right? It's a bit of a different approach to normal trading almost, where we're just waiting for the signals. With the Ichi, it's more of a feel. It's more of a what if, what could, okay? And we base our decisions then according to what's currently up and what could pop up. If we feel that there's something that could pop up that would be better, then we rather wait for that instead of just taking the signal that we're getting currently. Um, like I said, it's quite a bit of a different method of approach to normal trading, but it works really well. And if you can master that and do that well, you can really do well with any type of trading system. The key factor is just controlling the emotional effect. And the nice thing is with the Ichimoku, it's a good way to on a long term type of trade. get the feel for what the normal type of movement on the markets are, because every time you're going to notice, okay, you're going to start moving into profits, and then you're going to start moving and losing those profits. Then it's going to start moving into bigger profits, and then it's going to turn against you again. And every time it's going to turn against you, it feels like you're riding this roller coaster. And it feels like, every single time you try and open a trade, you kind of put yourself in a worse of position. But it's only the little pullbacks that create that. If you're in for it, long enough, you start actually getting used to those type of moves, and it doesn't bother you at all. That's what I want happening with you guys. If you can master those parts, you're going to master the basic thing about trading. That's mastering the emotions. Okay. Once you've done that, you're going to notice trading is a breeze. The emotions are still going to come up. Okay? No doubt about that. Key difference is identifying them, knowing that they're there, and just not acting on them. Okay. And that's it. There's no need to go and look for extra validation as well, because that's going to be useless. You've already done your work, you've done everything, and trying to find that extra when it looks like something's not going to go your way is only going to have you view the chart in one particular way. So you're going to miss anything else that's going to come up. Okay, you might be getting a clear signal for a sell when you're um, in a long, and you're looking for extra validation to say that this is going to go up. So you actually miss an entry signal that's smack bam right in front of you, or even a formation of those type of things. So it's almost like you need to remove yourself from the entire process mentally at a point, and just see it for what it is. And this is why I say, the key factor is to be able to perceive the market from its perspective. Check what the market is offering from its point of view, not your point of view, not the broker's point of view, not a news release's point of view. None of that. That doesn't work. Okay. See what the market is delivering from its own perspective. And that's why we always wait for proper confirmations and wait for clear signals, because there's nothing worse than taking a shot in the dark with your trades. Okay. That's just purely gambling then. That's not what you want. Okay. Still going to take quite a little while for this to do anything else. So, yeah, let's just wait a little while and see what this is going to produce. Okay, right, guys. So obviously nothing happening yet. So let's just keep on waiting, keep an eye on it. Okay, let's see. Could you maybe tell me the difference between a standard and a pro version of the backtesting product? Okay, now all good. Not a worry. The backtesting product itself, to kind of give you an idea quickly. Okay, if we're going down here, the one we've got here, I think that is, yes, that's the, there we go. That's the pro version. Okay. You saw the standard version yesterday. Now, the standard version is basically where we click and drag our buy and sell entries onto the chart. And we can then, we've got the configuration settings, okay, which pops up. The configuration settings is where you set all your targets, you set your stops, distances, that kind of thing. Pretty, kind of normal settings. You set your spread and all those different types of things in there as well. The big difference between the standard and the pro version, okay, is that it comes down to the tweaking process. Now, with a standard version, your tweaking is going to be a bit more laborious, okay, in terms of where if you're going to need to change specific settings and that kind of thing, you're just going to need to manually update your trades with the win or loss script, okay. With the pro version, all you do is you use the calculate win or loss script and you click and drag that, and it automatically updates all the trades in one go. So this means your tweaking is literally going to be just click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. That's it. Okay. For a full tweak, basically, you'd be able to set your configure settings. You'd be able to even use magic numbers. Okay, that's the extra addition that we brought in. The magic numbers actually allows you to backtest two separate systems at the same time. Or let's say you've got a strategy that has got multiple different types of entry methods. You can set a magic number for each type of entry, right? And then set it through. And when you want to update only a particular part of your backtesting, you focus on updating only that one magic number part. Okay. So you can now fully customize your backtesting and tweaking in insane ways now. Okay. So your tweaking process is the biggest difference in terms of the pro and the standard version. So with the standard version, your tweaking is just going to have to be manually updated with the win or loss scripts. Okay, so changing a winner maybe to a loser and that kind of thing. The update trade section will basically still update most of the targets and stops and that kind of thing, but it will not change or calculate whether the trade is a winner or loser. You're just going to have to manually mark that with a win or loss scripts. Okay, but the calculate win or loss script is the one that comes with the pro version. And also in your configure settings, you've also got the addition of your what's it now, your buffers as well. So now you can add buffers in there as well, and you can actually now have the buffers excluded or included in the targets as well. So you've got the choice of those settings within the configuration scripts. So like I said, the nice thing is that with the pro version, you don't have to worry about the win or loss scripts. It's one click and drag and it does everything. It calculates everything automatically. Okay, so a tweak will literally just be any type of tweak you're going to do will only be the changing of your configuration settings and then clicking and dragging the calculate win or loss script. Whereas with the standard version, you change your configuration settings. It will change the stop and targets, everything all for you, but you just have to manually update, maybe change a winner to a loser or so forth, one by one by using the win and loss script. Okay, it's still going to be a lot faster than normal backtesting. Okay, but you can see that the pro version, specifically if you're going to want to churn out quite a lot of strategies, the pro version is going to be the best one to go with, because you'd be able to build so many strategies in a short period of time. With the pro version, because of that fast tweaking process. So once you've got an idea of something, the only real work you've ever got with these scripts is just identifying your entries. That's it. Everything else is just done with click and drag, click and drag. So that's the big difference between the two. I've got a full description of basically those differences and those perks and so forth for each one that I've already set up on the web page. But that should be up probably tomorrow or the day after. Like I said, we're just running still a couple of tests and that kind of thing to make sure that everything is running 100%. So for me, it's like I said, I'd rather make sure everything runs 100% smooth than just giving you something and you're getting issues. Okay, that's not the way I like it. I want you guys to have a clear and smooth process when using these products and so forth. So it's a choice for you. If you want the insanely fast tweaking version, then definitely the Pro version is going to be the one to go for. Okay. Also, if you're looking at going with more complex strategies in the future, okay, the Pro version is going to be the one. Otherwise, the standard version should be fine. You just need to remember that with the calculate win or loss, that does not come with the standard version. Okay, so you're just going to need to manually identify winners and losers, and that's just clicking and dragging the win or loss script like we did yesterday in the back testing. Okay. With the Pro version, we don't do that. We just click and drag the script and it automatically calculates the winners and losers for you. Okay. So it saves a lot of time in terms of tweaking, like I said. Okay? And then obviously it just includes buffers. So if you want to look at using buffers, you've got that choice as well with the Pro version. Okay. And then the magic numbers just makes it also brilliant if you want to choose or how to say, kind of test more complex systems. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say the Pro version kind of is an all-rounder in terms of any type of strats and that kind of thing, whereas the standard version is for your more kind of basic systems. You can still have some uh, complex systems in there, but you're going to need to test it slightly differently. That's the only thing. Okay, so I hope that covers that. Okay, right. So okay. Very good question, actually. Right. Um, you won't need to worry about paying the full price. Okay. If you've got the standard version, that kind of thing, then it's basically just an upgrade option that you're gonna, take, and you'd get the full product or the Pro version as well. So it's normally just, um, paying the difference for the upgrade in that sense. Okay, so yeah, if you want to only go for the Pro version later on, by all means. Okay, you don't have to worry about paying full price for it. Okay, because the whole fact is that once you've got the standard version, you've basically got half of the full product. Okay. Um, so yeah, we're not going to charge you basically the full go for the Pro version as well. Uh, um, so yeah, hope that covers that as well. Is there anything else? Okay, great stuff. Right, so while we're still waiting, nothing yet really popping up. Also, no divergence that I'm spotting so far for the downward side. Also, 15-minute is just doing its thing, so let's just give it some time. I'm just gonna go make a cup of coffee. So if you guys want to as well, by all means, I'll probably be back in about 5. Okay. Okay, right. Back, got my coffee, everything's sorted, and we see that obviously we got stopped out. Okay, you guys can see what happened there, right? We didn't reach the stop loss level 100% and we got taken out. Right, so what happened? Okay, the whole thing was that whenever you're gonna, and here's the thing, okay, not a lot of people know this, not even a lot of pro traders know this, unfortunately. It's shocking actually. But on your sell positions, you will always be taken out before your stop actually gets hit by the amount of the spread. Same as with the target, you'll only get the target knocked if it actually goes towards your target and passes the target by the amount of the spread. This is why when it comes down to your back testing, you want to be sure that you drop your targets and your stops on the sell positions by the amount of the spread as well. Okay. Now, that's the big thing that you need to kind of remember within your backtesting. The beautiful thing is, like I mentioned, the backtesting product takes care of all of that. You don't need to worry about that. It takes all of that into the equation. So you know exactly where you're truly going to get taken out. Okay. With stop and target placement on your sellers. Okay. Um, so you can see that we definitely got taken out even before it reached our stop. And that is just because of how the brokers run with their prices. There's actually always two prices being quoted. There's the normal chart price, and then there's a background price. You see that? Look there, two prices every single time. Okay, and that's what makes the difference. If you're looking at it, look at our bid price, right? It's 8640, and we've got it over here, 8640 as well. Okay, so we've got our sell price being shown on the chart. The buy price is higher. Okay, so the buy price is actually running 30 points or 3 pips higher. And that's why we got taken out, because we had to get out on the ask price, okay, which is the buy price. So that's one of the little things that you guys just need to kind of be aware of as well within your normal trading. It's going to have a bigger effect on intraday trading because we're trading much smaller stop to entries, okay, and those stops have or those spreads have got a bigger effect on it. And that's why you will notice that I tend to say a lot of the times as well, when you're running with a particular intraday strategy, that you don't really want to take any trades with a stop to entry that is anything smaller than twice the size of the actual spread on the chart, because then it's just going to start working against you, even though you're using a 2-to-1 risk to reward. If you're going to go with something that's just twice the size of spread on your stop to entry, you're going to end up with a 1-to-1 ratio. Okay, and that means you have to have at least a 60% hit rate on that type of size of stop to entry to make it profitable for your system at any point in time. So normally what we do is we tend to drop all of those smaller stop to entry size trades when we've got a target in place. And it actually improves the results because now the cost of the trade has got a much smaller effect on the overall account. So you can see, once you know all these little things, it's easier to start pushing your system into a profitable situation. Okay? And that's what it's all about. It's knowing how to play around with your systems in such a way that you can tweak it and maneuver it in such a way that it actually starts producing good profits. And that's the unfortunate thing that a lot of other people don't know, or that you can go and check out the competition if you want to. They're not going to tell you any of that. They're not going to show you any of those things, okay? Because they, truthfully, they don't really trade themselves. They only give you a system that you need to trade, and that's the set system. I feel that a trader has to be adaptable to the market, because once the market conditions change, the system is not going to be productive anymore. And there's no use in trading a system that doesn't produce profits. You're only going to wipe your account. So if you can spot when these changes can come up and you can adjust it, and you've got the skills, right, and the knowledge in order how to adjust these setups and so forth to start producing more profits, It doesn't matter where you sit, with what chart you sit, you are gonna be able to make money off of it. That's the key features that a pro trader has. It's that adaptability to new market cycles and so forth. Okay, so it makes a huge difference once you know these things, because there's no way that the markets can really fool you. You're going to be the one in control of the markets most of the time. So it's just about making sure that you start getting a feel and an understanding for the process that we take. Like I said yesterday, when it comes to strat building, I do not care what you guys come up with for your entry conditions. You saw yesterday how I tweaked that RSI, right? Um, it's so funny, it's you get to a point where you start spotting these types of different cycles or patterns, and it's completely different to what we are taught. But that's the thing. I want to show you guys the different ways in which you read the indicators and can come up with new types of entries that no one else has ever thought of. Okay. So you saw yesterday that instead of trading the break down, we trade the break up. Okay. And that actually gave us a huge hit rate. Right. I was actually surprised myself with how well that system ran once we tweaked the entry conditions with the RSI in such a way. So uh, quite a couple of you, I think, are probably gonna, I want to say, run with that system now that we looked at yesterday. Um, Stuff. Good to see you, Arthur. I'm just gonna set your mic to mute so that we just don't get the background echo and that kind of thing. If there's any questions and that kind of thing, by all means, just use the chat feature at the top left and, ask anything. Just to get you back up to date, we had an entry signal this morning. We basically got in on our moving average setup. After this candle formed, it was confirmed we got the cross on the stochastic. We went in for a sell. And unfortunately, we did get stopped out a little bit earlier. So a stop was basically set over here. You can see the candles never reached the stop loss level. And that's one of the things I want to just make you guys aware of. Okay. On any sell position, you will always be taken out before your stop gets reached. And the trade will only be closed after it passes the target by the amount or the size of the spread of the cost of the trade. Okay, so when you're doing your back testing, you just need to remember to update your sell entries by dropping the stop and the target by the amount of the spread, because that's the true point of exit on the chart. Okay, so that's going to give you the most accurate back testing results then. Like I said, our backtesting products include those differences already into it. So you don't need to worry about remembering it, or adjusting those type of things. It's a nice, fast, smooth process with the backtesting product. Tonight's session is obviously going to be a fun one as well. We're running in some nice profits with that. I've actually got the other platform open. And yeah, we did take a big drawdown. Not big though. We've probably lost half of the profits we've already made. Not lost. It's a drawdown. But I'll show you guys this evening. We've probably got another entry that's popped up on that one. So we'll just wait and see exactly what's going to happen. Now, in terms of normal trading over here, we're basically about almost 50 minutes into our session. So we've had one loser so far. At this point in time, there's not really anything setting up 5-minute wise. Okay, we might get a setup happening in about, I'd say 30 minutes. Yeah, I think about 25 to 30 minutes we might get a setup happening. Ooh, I like what I'm seeing here. Okay, we've got the stochastic on the 15 going up, right? And there's no divergence at the tops. None. We had the divergence at the bottoms here. That's probably why we're getting that slight move up happening there. On the 5-minute, however, we have got divergence showing up. Let me show you guys. Okay, check here. From that point to that point is up, and straight up from there to that high there. That's down. There's divergence at the tops. Now this could push up higher, and once it passes that level there, it cancels out the divergence because then both will be going up and higher. Okay. But I can't trade this because the fact is my 15 minutes stochastic is pointing up. I needed to start pointing down, okay, before I can really take it. Okay, or I need to get some signal that it's turning actually. So it's going to be a little while before we really get anything, but we're just going to need to wait and see. If we're lucky, we might actually get a setup on the 15-minute for divergence slightly later, and that's why I say that might happen in about 30 minutes time. So we'll just have a look and keep an eye out and see what's going to happen exactly with that. Okay, right. So like I said, guys, if there's any other questions and so forth, by all means, just give a shot, let me know, and we'll kind of just um, tackle the questions that you've got while we're waiting for any other entries and so forth. Um, so like I said, today, unfortunately, we did get a knock. So that's a 1% loss. All good. We're always going to have some of those days. Might even end up to be a positive day for us. So we just have to give it time and see what the market delivers. There's no use in trying to get into force an entry. Okay, that's all about waiting for the perfect market conditions. Now, it looks like something's starting to set up. Let's just look at the 5, see what that's doing. Okay, it's going to take a little while before it's saying anything else, but so far it looks good. Just going to have to wait still. Okay, normally, final confirmation for me is candle crossing the 8 moving average. Okay, the purple one over here. So we're just going to wait for that to happen. Hopefully we get the 15-minute stochastic starting to point in the right direction as well once that happens. Just need to give it time to do that. If it does that, then I'm definitely going to have my stochastic entry and I'll take that. So yeah, like I said, we're just going to wait and see what's going to happen. Look at the big, beautiful flows we had yesterday. That was the news release that came up yesterday. Can't remember 100% what the news release was. It was basically, yeah, it was the manufacturing reports, if I'm right, for the US that came out. And that just, yeah, caused huge fluctuations within the markets. You can see that with news releases, we've got huge moves that happen. Okay, check the funny thing, and this is how it tends to happen. You get ready before the news release, you get signals, you go in, for the shorts maybe. That starts turning against you. So now all of a sudden you think, hey, this is going to go up, so you go in for the buy. It runs against you, it takes you out. Okay, so you're going for the short, and as soon as you go in for the short, it runs back up against you and takes you out a second time. Okay, standard type of news release flow. Uh, uh, this is one of the ways that the market makers trick people. This is why I say, don't really just jump into your news release trades, those type of things. Okay, rather wait for the news release to happen and finish, and then you get back in and start trading. Let the idiots lose their money first, and then we get in once they've lost their money. Okay. Uh, for me, it's all about making sure that we get the best possible trade entries. For me, it's all about the quality of the entry, not the quantity. Okay, quantity means nothing. It's not about the number of trades you take, that kind of thing. I just want to make sure that most of the trades I'm going to take are going to be winners, and that's it. So the better the quality of the signal, the better your system should be running. So be careful of trying to jump in with emotional involvement, because that is going to make your trading very difficult. Okay, right. So I can't see that there's any extra questions and that kind of thing. So all good. Like I said, guys, if there's any questions, by all means, just let me know. Just use the group chat feature, type it in, and we can take it from there. Now, at this point in time, like I said, there's not really much happening. We're just going to have to wait. We're almost an hour into the session, so we've got about another 2 hours left. Okay, and yeah, we'll just have to kind of have a look at exactly, what this might be producing. So far, very interesting morning. Gonna be good to see if this produces some more signals. I mean, even if we get only one winner after this, we're still ending up for a profit for the day. Yeah. That's the thing. As long as you set your risk to reward in a good, favorable ratio, it really doesn't matter what happens. Um, you end up always making the profits. Remember, there's going to be times where you're even going to have a week that is not doing good. That's normal for a lot of systems. That's why the back testing is so important, because it proves it to you, so that when you get into that type of cycle, you don't feel like the system's not working anymore, or you don't get scared unnecessarily, that type of thing. You actually start understanding, okay, it's just normal flow. Just let it be. Don't get too panicky or hasty and that kind of thing. Makes all the difference. Okay. It still needs to run. Let's look at the 5. Is it doing anything else? Taking some time to set up. All good. I've got all the time in the world. Doesn't matter. Just remember to not get too busy that you start forgetting to look at the charts. That's something that happens with a lot of traders when they start out. Okay, um, you don't want any interruptions, especially if you're going to be trading intraday. Okay, because it means firstly that you're most likely going to miss an entry, and if you miss an entry, it's like it's a quick a kick between the legs almost. Because it could have been a winner, and worst case is you see that was or would have been a winner, and then it's not fun. And again, you start playing with that emotional cycle and that kind of thing. So just be careful of those type of things. You're going to notice, a lot of this is going to be getting to the point of being in control of the emotional state. Okay? And this is why I'm so, how to say, strict in terms of us using and setting up a tick chart. How's it, William? Great to see you online as well. Okay. Right, so, like I said, hopefully last night you guys saw a completely out of the box method of approaching, putting a system together. You saw that I changed the signals or the entry conditions or rules for the RSI to a complete flip side. Yet, however, we got a huge hit rate with that one. Yeah? Like I said earlier, I kind of started laughing at a point because I think quite a couple of you are going to start running with that as a system now. Just make sure that you do a full back test on it though, okay? But that's basically the process, that you saw last night. It's coming up with something that we can start off with. And we saw that the normal signals that we had in just didn't produce anything whatsoever. So we started looking outside the box and approached it slightly differently. And all of a sudden, it changed the entire picture. Yeah? That's the type of analysis I want you guys to look at. That's why I say, within the webinars and that kind of thing, the Saturday session webinars and that kind of thing that we do as well. With that, I'm going to show you guys at a particular point how we break the rules completely. That's the thing. We can break the rules. The only thing I want you guys to stick to is the process we take. So the biggest thing I want you guys to walk away with is the process we use to analyze our systems, to test our systems with, and so forth. Other than that, I do not care how you go about it, because the more freedom you've got, the more chances you'd have of coming up with an out-of-the-box system that produces good results that no one else would use. Remember, the masses get it wrong because they don't have a cooking clue at what they're doing. We, on the other hand, know how to play this now into our favor. Okay, so at this point in time, what we're seeing looks good. Coming down now, am I seeing what I want to on the 15 minute? Let's have a look. Starting to get there. I know I'm going to need to check. We might get two signals. One for the moving average setup. that could come up, and then obviously the divergence setup. But I don't think this is going to be one that's going to be traded. Purely only for how the 15-minute stochastic is set up. Technically, it's starting to give confirmation for the divergence at the top in the 5. But like I said, I need the 15-minute stochastic to be going the right direction, and unfortunately, it isn't. Okay, have a look here. You see, it's still going up. It might only start going down after that one. Let's wait for the confirmation. We might get it then. So it's 30 seconds, then we'll know. Okay, so once the next one pops up, if it starts pointing down, then I'm definitely getting in. Let's actually have a look. Might be a good idea to actually just get my calculator out now. There's only a couple of seconds. Calculator, calculator, calculator. There we go. So it's 986 divided. 886 divided by. No, no go. See, check how that's pointing up. There's no way I'm gonna get in that 5 minute now. Bugger that. Let's have a look at the 5. So that confirmation gave us nothing. Okay, all good. Kept us false entry. So I'll just wait a little bit longer and see what happens. Okay. Right. So still nothing up yet. Remember, we had the trade setup happening early on the 15-minute for the 3 moving average setup. I'm just going to get it back to the 15. So we had the entry happen on that candle. Stop was set. We can see that price didn't get to the stop level, but we got stopped out. Remember, that is because we always get taken out on a sell position on the buy price, and the buy price is always higher than the actual chart price because it's the sell price that is always displayed on the charts. Okay. Like I said, not a lot of people know that actually, and they kind of start throwing, sissy fits and so forth, and flip tables and that kind of thing because they see, oh, the brokers are cheating me, they took me out before it even hit my stop. Guys, it's normal. It's how it's supposed to happen. Okay. Like I said, not a lot of people know this, but you only really learn this once you've experienced it. Uh, Luckily for you guys, I know all of these things already, so I can warn you in advance. Um, the unfortunate thing is that most other traders out there, they don't even know this. You know? So that's the only downside. That's why it takes a lot longer for most other traders to kind of get to a point of becoming profitable and making good money, that kind of thing. So the blame game starts happening there. Now, but what's the worth or the use of trading because the brokers keep on manipulating everything? Well, at certain points they do tend to. But if you understand these types of things and you understand how it works, you can prepare for any of that comes up. And when you bring it into your preparations, it doesn't become an issue anymore. That's all it's about. It's moving up beautifully at this point in time. Oof, broke that level. Look there, big, big, big surge. Okay, just check the 5 minute. Big, big flow. You can check here, right? Swinging, creating bigger lows and bigger highs. It looks like we could be having a trend change coming up very shortly. Loves doing that every now and then. Okay, so we're definitely an hour into our session. We've got 2 hours left. Just gonna have to keep an eye, see what this is doing. Oof, this has got some strong bullish movement at the moment. Okay, so what's happening now? Okay, let's check for those of you on what candle formation is forming now. Who knows the candle formation? Looks like you guys need to sharpen up on those candle formations, eh? It's what we call bullish engulfing. Okay, it's a big, big, big bullish candle. And if we look at, let's just go and grab a line, we put it there, and we grab another line, we put it below. Okay, look at the body, and we've got one, two, three, four, about five candles on the inside of that body. That's a beautiful, beautiful bullish engulfing that's happening there. Okay, that is the sign of a bullish market. Okay, so we're seeing this going up quite beautifully. We'll probably have a slight retracement coming in very soon, and then it could continue going up. Um, or we might have this going sideways for a little while and then coming down slowly. But this is a huge push. Okay, right. So let's have a look. The 15. What is this doing again? Now, could this be that divergence set up on the 15 that I was talking about earlier? Let's just wait and see. We're going to be close to confirmation in about 10 minutes. Isn't it funny? Look at the lines I've set. Look how it's actually setting up a channel as well. Okay, if I'm just going to put the auto scroll off, look how it's setting up a channel here. Our price is running inside those bands. Support, support, support. Support over there, resistance. Quite funny to see. It shows you how well support resistance lines work actually. So many different ways of taking advantage out of the markets. The more you know, the better type of, or the more type of all-round systems you can come up with. Like I said, the biggest thing is probably to learn your indicators as well as possible. That makes it a lot simpler for you to come up with different types of systems. So make sure you put a lot of effort in learning different types of indicators. And then yesterday you saw me kind of breaking the rules on how to use an indicator. I don't care. The point is we set new rules and we stuck to those rules. Okay, and you could see how it changed the setup completely. Okay, from a system that did not produce a single entry to a system that produces good entries and a good hit rate. Yeah. Um, Actually, I was quite surprised with really how well that one ran. But again, it's as we went through it, it's you start picking up certain things, and that's why I say you start. The more you do this, the quicker these things jump out at you, and that's why I told you guys, there's something that I've spotted while we went through it the first time round. So that's what I checked, afterwards, tweaking wise, just to see how well that actually would produce those results and that kind of thing. And it went really, really well. Like the way it went, that kind of thing. So no, I was really chuffed with the way in which that one ran actually. But it just shows, it's about being able to look outside of the box to spot different type of, or types of methods of entry and so forth. And it could change the game completely. So when you're kind of looking at those things in a different type of way, you start opening up many other methods of profiting off of a chart. Okay. The norm only looks at the standard settings. That's the thing. Okay. We are much more advanced than that, guys. Okay. We perceive things from an outside point of view. And this is why we take the approach we do, because it gives us that edge over all the other traders out there. Okay. Um, it's all about, and like I said, for me, it's about profits. That's the main thing. Amount of winners means nothing. Okay. It's about how much profit you can pull off of a chart. Even if you've got only a few winners, it does not matter. It just makes it psychologically more difficult to run with a system that's got a small hit rate. So you just need to find that level that suits you, that you're comfortable with. And once you've got that ratio set up for yourself, you've got something that you can run with. Um, but that's the thing. The more you practice this, the better you get at it, and you actually start developing almost like an intuition into the chart. And it makes a huge difference because you spot certain patterns a lot quicker. Okay, that's why it's like that jumped out of the chart for me. I mean, I just ran through that quickly, checking, okay, winner, loser, and all of a sudden, or before we even did that, when we looked at just entry signals, as I'm looking at that to spot whether, there were any entries, um, it just basically went beautifully. Or like I said, it jumped out of the chart almost for me. Uh, okay, I've been doing this for quite a long while, so obviously, I can spot these things a lot quicker than most of the people. It just comes down to practice. That's all. That's all it is. But hopefully, you guys picked up a valuable lesson yesterday with that. Okay. Um, like I said, it's the more you can start opening your minds up in terms of interpreting these indicators on an outside of the box point of view, the better. Okay, because you're only making your options for different systems bigger. And like I said, it does not matter to me. As long as you follow the correct process, I don't care what you come up with for strategy. Because the entry conditions is just the entry conditions just tells you when to get in. You know? Even if you go against the grain, I don't care. You know? That's about getting the process right and then just testing whether it's profitable or not. So if you're going against the grain 100% and it's profitable, who cares if you're breaking the rules? You're making money. That's what it's about. A lot of people don't understand that. Okay, like I said, guys, any questions that pops up, by all means, just give a shout. Let me know. We can handle all of that basically. We've got a lot of time at this point in time. So it's just waiting to see exactly, if anything else is going to come up, new is going to come up, and we'll take it from there. But if there's any questions, just pop it into the group chat and we'll take it from there. Okay, still going to take a while before we really get anything. Um, we have got slight divergence now, just the other way around at the tops for the 15. So it could be a good one. We're just going to have to wait and see what it's going to do. 5 minute, what's that doing? It's probably making a turn. Let's just give it a bit more time. Well, let's put the auto scroll back on. There we go. Yep, starting to make the turn. Okay, it might have another swing up and then go down. So we'll just give it time. We need to just, have it do its thing before we just jump in. So far it looks like we shouldn't have really any issues. Still taking its time. Yeah, funny. Like I said, I'm gonna probably have a little swing up. Just doing that actually. Just look at the 15 again. See what that's doing. Still pushing. Okay, now it's cancelling the divergence, so nothing. You're gonna have to wait a little longer. Might give us something good in a short while. We'll have to see. Starting to get a turn on the 15. Still just nothing really in terms of divergence in the 15. Let's check the 5. Is there anything being given there? Our 3 moving average setup is kind of out of the equation at this point in time. Well, hey. Definitely are getting something. Just gonna have to wait a little while to get a bit of a clearer picture. It's still gonna take a while before we really get anything happening there. Might be about 10 to 20, maybe half an hour. Just keep an eye on it. Hopefully it does its thing. That's the key. Don't force any unnecessary entries. Okay, you're only going to hurt yourself. About 2 minutes roughly before we get anything happening with that one. Yeah, it probably needs to go up slightly to give us a bit of a better signal. 15, what are you doing? You've still got about 7 minutes before you're going to do anything else. It's getting to the point where it wants to turn, so we might get a stochastic setup happening. We'll just wait and see what it's really going to want to do in a short while, and then we'll take action. But so far, so good. No complaints yet. All running the way I wanted. It's coming down nicely now. That's good. Let's look at the 5. Showing anything good. Yeah, getting close to confirming there. Okay, check it. This is what I'm seeing. See if you guys spot it as well. Check there. Down, up. Let's check the 15. What are you going to do? Are we going to get the confirmation after this? Hopefully. Let's see. Let's get back to the 5. Just needs to do its thing. Might just have another wait. Interesting how these things always set up, eh? Got about 2.5 minutes before I really know what that's going to do. Give it the time it needs. We will get a much better idea after this candle finishes, because then we're going to get the new 15-minute candle. It might change the direction of the 15-minute. Hopefully that happens, because then we get that setup that we want to take. Otherwise, we'll just have to wait a little bit longer. But that's it. You're going to notice, sometimes you're going to feel like watching paint dry. That's what a lot of people tell me. It's like, how can you keep looking at these charts? It's like watching paint dry. Well, in fact, if you only knew, you can get so glued to the screen with these things, waiting and spotting for entries and that kind of thing. This is highly, highly addictive. So let me warn you guys now. Um, Best thing and best advice I can give any of you that are new to this, okay, is make sure that you set your trading times and cycles and so forth to fit in with your current lifestyle. Do not change your current lifestyle to make your lifestyle fit around trading. It's never going to work. Your lifestyle is always going to take over. It's always going to take priority. Okay? So make sure you can set it in such a way where it fits in with your current lifestyle. That's going to be a lot easier to maintain for the long run then. Okay? Everything changes every now and then. So you might find that you get a new job or you relocate or that kind of thing, and your time constraints change. And that means you can start trading new systems or tackle new market times and that kind of thing. So, like I said, just make sure that you formulate this in such a way that it fits your current lifestyle. Do not work your lifestyle around this. Okay. Yes, this is powerful. Yes, this can give a lot of growth. Okay. But the key thing is to have this be able to be maintained lifelong. Okay, I want you guys to be able to make money for the rest of your life, not only for a couple of days. Okay, that's the key thing for me. If you guys can make money, I know I'm doing my job perfectly then. Okay, and that's my goal, is just to make sure that every single one of you actually make proper money. Okay, so we've had that confirmation, not confirmation, but we've had the candle close. Let's look at what the 30 minutes is doing. It's looking like it's wanting to turn. There is no divergence on the 15. That's okay. We're waiting now, and yeah, it would be good if we get the confirmation on the 5. We've got that setup happening there, so I'd be going for that one in a short while. So I need a close from above below. So far, it's just been staying above. We'll give it a little while. Hopefully, this sets up for a second one. If it does, all good. Just give it the time it needs now. And then if we get the confirmation, we'll obviously jump in. Big surge up, eh? You see why I always wait for confirmation and don't just jump in on the first thing that looks like it's going to go somewhere? Because the market will continuously try and trick you. Tonight, you guys are going to see as well. I'm going to show you exactly why certain trades was not taken last week. Okay. I remember when we went through our analysis for the end of day. There's a couple of things that showed that we could probably jump in, but I wasn't happy, and there was a couple of reasons why, and you'll get the confirmation this evening to see why we didn't go in. Okay, that's why if you can read these things in a proper way, I mean, wow, the power that edge has got. Um, I love that system. It's a brilliant system. It's a difficult one to learn and to master. Okay, it took me 7 months in the beginning because I had to trade it on daily charts first, get to learn the lines first, that kind of thing. And once I learned the lines, then I applied it. But it had to be applied on end of day charts. So it takes quite long for you to get into the entries. And once you're in it, it starts getting a little bit better. But you're about a month in then. And then only you start getting used to the way it flows, the type of ways it goes, that kind of thing, and you start skimming and so forth on your analysis. Um, but yeah, in about 7 months' time, I mastered it into a point of being able to trade it successfully on a 1 hour chart. Okay, I wouldn't recommend you guys going onto a 1 hour chart for the Ichimoku. Um, uh, 4 hour at this point in time is what I'd say. You can push for if you want to go for a smaller time frame. But yeah, it's a brilliant little system. And I always say, if you can master that one, you can master any indicator out there. Okay, so no other questions. Okay, all good. Like I said, guys, if there's anything that pops up, by all means, just give a shot. Let me know. We can tackle it. We're just waiting for some proper signals at this point in time. So far, the market is looking really, really strong for the bullish move. Okay, let's have a look at the 1 hour and see what that's doing. That's wanting to turn up. That's why. Okay. It's basically hitting a major support level. Could pop up, could pop down. Don't know. Just gonna have to wait and see. Okay. All looks good. All looks good. And about 45 seconds before that candle finishes. Not gonna get a signal on that one, the way it's currently set up. And as I'm opening my mouth, it's going the other way. See how funny it is? Okay, let's see what the 15 is doing. Is that starting to do something else? Getting there, getting there. It's slowing down. Back to the 5. Should be confirming in a couple of seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. New candle. Now, come on. Boom, boom. That's just waiting for the new tick to come out. My word. There we go, finally. And that one still hasn't confirmed, so we're going to have to wait for this candle to close before we can really do anything. Might as well get the calculator ready. Calculator. There we go. Yes, that's all good. Got all of that in. Okay, that is showing that it is running. Let's see, 15. That's probably still. That could be turning down. Ah, there we go. That's what I want to see. That's good. Okay, let's see if we will be able to get that shoved down. Big candle now. do a quick measurement, see what this comes out to as is currently. That's going to be where our stop's going to be placed. So we're looking at about 121 roughly. So anywhere from 140 to 120 roughly is what we'd be expecting for stop to entry distance. Let's just keep an eye and see what it's going to do. Oh, big drop. Big drop. Remember, I didn't have the confirmation, so I couldn't take it. I'm just going to have to wait. About 3 minutes, then we'll know. The bears are loving this at the moment. Okay, so the 15. Oof, beautiful. Okay. That's going to be a nice one to take. Well, yeah, I'll just give it time. Always need to give it time. Under 2 minutes left. Let's have a check. 5 minute. Where's that one sitting now? Okay. Now hopefully this pushes back up slightly more. Do you remember we're looking at about 120 to 140 roughly? Now it's sitting at almost 150. Okay, so big push that made. All good. Oh, pushing even bigger now. I actually love it when the market starts making these big swings. Okay, we've got under a minute. Almost time. And this is why I'm waiting so long. I'm waiting for that 15-minute to line up perfectly, and it's lining up perfectly. So I'm going to trade the full momentum of the 15-minute into the direction that it's heading now. And I'm just waiting for the timing on the 5 now. It's 30 seconds, and then we'll be in. You know? So yeah, calculator's ready, up and running. Just waiting now. Let's get the measurements ready. Measurement is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, might as well take it there. Boom. We're looking at 182. That's an even bigger one. Okay, so right click, trading, new order. Set our volume 5.41. Okay, we sell. Boom. Drag my stop into place. Boom. There we go. That's done. Target is going to be twice the distance, so we're looking at 364. We're pulling it down. I'll look at the number there, 364. There we go, spot on. Boom, in, done. Now we need to let it do its thing. That's it. Okay, let's look at the 15. What are you doing? Going good, going good. Like that. Okay, that's it. Right. Okay, I'll be back in about 5. Like I said, guys, if there's any other questions that pop up, by all means, just pop it into the chat feature. See you guys in about 5 minutes. Okay, still nothing much happening at this point. Just waiting. And this might take quite a while before it really hits anything. Um, could take us out again. So, you know, might be just that bad week. We'll see. I'm not really phased. That's the thing. You get used to the flow of these things. Still no extra questions though, so they're all good. No worries. Like I said, guys, if there's any questions, by all means, you can use the chat feature. Um, Great to see you on as well, Mohammed. Okay, we've had two trades already. The first trade unfortunately took us out. We're in on the second one. That's the stochastic setup. First one we got in at was basically our three moving average setup, and that took us out before it even hit our stop. It's because it was a sell position. Remember, sell positions are a lot more tricky, purely for the fact that you're going to get taken out only after you pass the target by the amount of the spread, and you're going to get taken out before your stop by the amount of the spread. So remember that within your back testing. Okay, like I said, the back testing product itself, it actually does take all of that into the equation. So you don't need to worry about that at all with the backtesting product. It'll show your true exit points. Okay. Um, right. So we're just waiting to see, whether this is okay. It's starting to move down, which is nice. Like seeing that 5 minute. What are you doing? Okay. 5 minutes still running. Okay. Remember, that's our stop. That's our target. There's our entry. Just need to have this have enough time to do its thing. From there, we'll get a better idea. I should set this back to the standard kind of size. There we go. Getting to 5. Let's see, let's keep an eye on that. Okay, fast from kind of sideways now. Not really sure what it wants to do. Probably going to go up slightly, and we'll get the second shove down. Who knows? We might be lucky. We might even get a second entry coming up. So let's see what happens. But some good movers in the market at this point in time. I like it when it flows nicely. Can't argue with any of that. All happy with the movement so far. Like I said, these things just need a bit of time in order to know, get the moves you need. Still a lot of sideways movement at this point in time. New candles formed. It's not really doing much now. Like I said, we can expect a retracement to the up and then the setup for the next downward shove. It's normal flow of this type of entry. 15-minute. See, we still got the full move of the 15 wanting to go down. So I'm really not bothered about any of that at all. So we'll just wait and see what this will be producing. Okay, new candle has just formed. Let's look what that's doing. Yep. Okay, still kind of small movement there. Let that just have its time to do what it needs to do. Okay, so we're basically about almost 2 hours into the session now. Got about an hour left, so we're not really probably going to get any extra entry showing up. Just going to have to wait and see. Definitely nothing's going to come up for the three moving average setup because yeah, that started moving into consolidation because of the way that setup happens. So that's out of the equation probably for the rest of the day as well. So that's why the stochastic setups are kicking in. Funny thing is when the stochastics on play, the moving average setup isn't, and when the moving average setup is in play, the stochastics aren't. It's like, the one gives me entries when the other one doesn't. That's sort of how you're going to have your own systems, developed and put together and find things that might be able to give you some good movements. And that's why we tend to have more than one strategy that we run. It's better to make sure that we get entries in any type of market condition. So you'd find that sometimes one system won't produce anything, but another system is going to give you entries. And that's the key. So you'll notice that in the end, what's going to happen is you guys will start to develop more than one system, and preferably, what will happen is that you will have each one targeting a different type of section within the markets, okay, or a different type of flow that comes up. Now, my stochastic setup is a counter trend flow. Normally happens on trend changes, those type of things. Whereas the moving average setup only happens within a fully trending flow. So each one has got its own kind of targeting section, I would say. Yeah, that candle has shot up now quite a lot more. Got about 15 seconds before that really finishes and the next one opens, and we'll have a look at what that does. Everything looks good so far. Like I said, I'm not really bothered about anything at this point in time. Just need to have it, give it the time it needs in order to produce what we want it to. So a new candle's formed, and let's see what that does. Okay, just giving it a bit of time. Okay, great stuff, Tony. Good to see you on as well. How's it going, my friend? Good stuff to you, man. Good stuff to you. Okay, now that's a big shove we're getting downwards. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm waiting for. Okay, so on the count of three, everyone jump. Hopefully it forces it further down. Let's just have a look at what's going to happen. Okay. Because you're going to notice, with the intraday setups and that kind of thing, sometimes it depends on the way your system's set up. But, it's like with my systems, it takes a bit of time for the entries to get to their points. It really depends on the type of time frame you're tackling. Obviously, we got in on 5 minutes here. We had a big stop to entry. Well, not really that big, but it is a big enough one in that sense to make sure that it takes a bit of time to get where it needs to. But so far, the signals, they're pointing in the right direction. I like the way things are going. Okay, so can't argue, can't complain. Like I said, with last night's, back testing session, you guys would have picked up some valuable information in terms of reading indicators in a completely different way than what they're actually normally used for. Right? And once you master that little trick, your options for entry conditions are going to become limitless almost. Oh, how far that one was shoved back up. It looks like the Bears are definitely wanting to take control over this. Okay, let's have a look at the 15. What's that doing? Like I said, we're expecting the retracement to happen there. Okay, but the 15 looks good. Look there, it's pointing down nicely. That's exactly what I want. We just need to wait and see what that's going to do. 5 minute. Getting back to that. Okay, got a couple of seconds, about 15 seconds before that candle finishes and the next one pops open. Okay, so let's just see what this is going to want to do. Okay, just to remind you all, if you've missed any of our sessions, they're always available for review afterwards. Okay, they're available up for replay because every single session does get recorded. Okay, and it's going to be great for you guys to try and follow with these sessions, that kind of thing, because there's so much to learn within these. Like I said as well, we only used to do this once a month. We're basically doing it every single week now. It gives you guys more exposure to exactly, the trading markets and that kind of thing. And you're going to be picking up these things a lot quicker. Yeah. Uh, I've got a couple of, I want to say, loyal followers in terms of the end of day systems, and things are running quite nicely with that. Very, very good learning curve in terms of, getting used to the flow of the markets, that kind of thing, and expecting exactly, what type of normal flows are. So definitely, it's something that's going to help every single one of you. If you can jump on these sessions, check, how I go about it, and see exactly, the different types of things that can happen, and how we react accordingly to them. Okay. And then the strat building and backtesting sessions, there's also good pieces of info, that gets shared in there. So it's all about making sure that you guys will be able to do this completely on your own. Okay. Like I said, the main thing for me is that I can teach you guys my skills and make sure that you can do this for a lifetime instead of just having a system that you can only run for a short while. If you get to the point where you are able to adapt with the markets, that's what you want. Because no matter what the market derives, you'll always be able to take advantage out of it. That's the key skill. That's what sets us apart from everyone else. We show you how to analyze these things, how to adapt, how to build systems from scratch. Okay, so that one. Okay, good thing is it's kind of faffing sideways now. I had a big push to the downward side, so that's a good sign for me. And we're getting that 5 minute stochastic wanting to push up. So the higher that goes up, the better, because we're probably going to get a bigger push down then. If that keeps going up while the chart is going slightly down now as well, even better, because it just shows that it's actually gaining momentum for the downwards move. Like I said, we might be lucky. We might actually get in second entry here. Doubtful though if it's going to happen within our session, but we'll just have to wait and see. Okay. But so far, I'm happy with the way things are going. Just need to wait. And if this one goes and it hits a target, all good. We had a profitable day. Yeah? So that's the key factor. Just making sure that your systems are set up in such a way that no matter what happens, you walk away with a profit. Okay, so guys, remember if there's any questions, by all means, shoot with them. Okay, we're still waiting basically for some action to happen. Like I said, this could take some time. But if there's any questions you guys have got which you'd like me to tackle while I'm here, by all means, just give a shot. Oh yeah, Tony, sorry man, I missed your question last night. When you asked about how to get the chart set up. Did you get right with that? Okay, looks like you might be busy with something else at this point in time. Not a worry. Okay, no, all good. Just to check, what was it specific? Because I can handle that now for you if you'd like me to. Um, was it for the update of the history of the charts and so forth? How to get that set up? Okay, just how to get a normal new chart loaded. Okay, check it. Let me show you. Okay, so what you do, let me just get rid of that. Okay, what you're gonna do to get any new chart on here. If you want to add an extra chart, you can see here, check here, I've got one, I've got two, I've got three Euro US dollar charts on here. Okay, so if I want to remove one, I'll just go to the cross below the main one over there, and I click on that, and that removes that chart. Okay, and now I'm back on that. Now I've only got four. Now if I want to add a new chart, I just go right over here. Here's the Euro Yen. Okay, so let's say we're going to want to add that one. I click, I drag, and I don't drop it on top of the chart because it's going to replace the current chart that I've got open. So I drag it to the top to add a brand new chart as an extra. Then it just updates with the history and that kind of thing, and that should be it. Then you just need to load your settings. Normally, I've got all my stuff saved as templates, okay, to make the whole process quicker to load any of my strats and that type of thing. Okay, does that cover it for you? It's basically just a simple click and drag. Drag it right to the top of the chart and it should open additional charts. Okay, so obviously we're not going to look at the Euro Yen now. We're still wanting to look at what's happening with the Euro US. Okay. Okay. I'll be sending you after the session, Tony. I'll be sending you the details to get everything set up and so forth. Okay. So you should be getting that. Just follow through the steps in the notes that I'll be sending you. That should get you set up properly. If you've got any issues, you can just mail me, let me know. We can take it from there. So if you need a bit more hands-on help, then all we do is we arrange a team viewer session. Then I can take control of your PC. Okay. But I'll send you the email after the session. Okay. And then you can get set up. Just let me know if you've got any issues with the setup process and so forth. And then we'll just, handle it as needed. Okay. Great stuff. Okay. So, like I said, the beautiful thing is, at this point in time, chart is kind of moving slightly sideways. It's coming down, which is nice. And I've got that 5 minute going up. I love seeing that because it just tells me there's a lot of momentum in the downwards move pulling up now. Okay. So I'm quite confident with this. I love it when it goes like this. Okay, so let's just see how far can that go. Now you can see the bulls or the bears are really trying to rip this down. There's not such an aggressive pullback at all. It's basically just sideways movement. And it's probably wanting to try and break this level over here. Once it breaks that, we could expect it going lower. The next problem we might have is the level over there. It's basically around the 18450 mark. Funny how the market loves to run at these round numbers. It's a psychological thing for other traders as well. That's why we tend to get these turns happening, very close to round numbers, I'd say. Remember, everything within the markets is controlled by one thing and one thing only. It's the psychological perception of the masses. Okay. Right. 15 seconds. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Okay, so let's have a look at the 15. Because now a new 15 candle is finished. It's still pointing down quite nicely. Like that. We might get a slight sideways movement still. And then we might have that second shove down. So let's just keep our eyes open and have this do its thing. Give it time to produce what we want it to. Beautiful. Check there. It's still moving up. Love that. Hopefully a big drop will come up quite soon. Any of you wanting to take a bit of dab at stocks or CFDs, following stocks and those type of things, you can actually already start playing around with them, but do it on a demo, obviously, to get a feel for them. But you'll notice that your formations and like your candle formations, your chart setups, like your head and shoulders, your triangles, and all those, pennants, wedges, flags, all those different types of things. They tend to actually happen quite often on shares. Okay, it's because those are the most easiest signals for most novices to pick up, and novices tend to always start out with shares. Uh, um, it's only really the guys that tend to get a bit more serious within trading that actually start tackling the indices and the forex markets and so forth, because it's basically a 24-hour market, um, and it's got quite of a different type of flow to it. But definitely a lot of stuff that you guys can practice already on many other charts. Be careful of indices though. They are a lot more highly leveraged, so their risk is a lot higher. You're going to need a much bigger account to take advantage of playing something like an indice. Otherwise, instead of using a percentage-based system, you're going to use a points-based system. Okay, and have a set amount of stop size every single time you enter. And that might be the best way of approach because the minimum you're going to be able to take is $1 per point. And that is quite high. So if you're going to be trading a $500 account, it's going to be very, very tricky trying to trade indices. Because the risks are just big. And if you're going to set your stop loss at 15 pips, okay, that's 150 points. It's a $150 loss. Okay, and that is already a bulk size of your account. That's about 30% of your account there gone. Okay, so be careful. Play around with any new instrument on a demo account first to get an idea for the type of exposure you're looking at. Okay, and that's the thing. Best thing is just get a feel for these things before you actually jump into it. That's what the demo is there for. To kind of make sure that you get comfortable with all the different types of flows and instruments you're going to be trading. And then from there on, you start getting a lot more better with your analysis on them. You get a better feel for how you should approach it and so forth. Okay. 20 seconds left before that candle finishes. That one's gone down. Stochastic's gone up. Love what I'm seeing on that. It's telling me that this is starting to build up some strong momentum for a downwards shove. Okay. And that's exactly what I want. So we're probably going to get a bit of sideways movement. Might have a shove up now just to keep that stochastic going up. You can definitely see that the bears are the ones wanting to force this into a particular direction. Okay, about 4 minutes before that candle finishes. Looks good. I don't think we're going to have anything happen in terms of target or stop being it within the session. It's only going to happen outside of the session. Okay, because we've only got about 40 minutes left. Okay, um, not enough time actually for it to do its full move that we're looking for. But so far, I'm liking a lot what I'm seeing. Yeah, setting up nicely. Let's just have a look at the 15 and see what that's kind of doing at this point. Okay, it still looks good. Still happy with that. Still going down nicely there. We're just waiting for the 5 then to kind of give us that big surge, which should be coming up shortly. It's Wednesday, so let's have a quick look at. Okay, I'm just checking Forex Factory quickly to see if there's anything that's going to come up pretty shortly in terms of news releases. Not really, only in the afternoon. I've got something coming out on the pound very shortly, in 10 minutes. Construction PMI. And then there is only at the end of the session on the euro, it's the PPI, month to month. But that's not really going to have a big effect at all, so I'm not really worried about that. Only thing that might, have an influence is the non-farm employment change, okay, for the US dollar, but that's only a 3:15. Okay, so it's only much later in that session that's going to transpire. Okay, that's starting to move down now. It's starting to get bigger. We're starting to get the cross on the 5 minute. Pushing back up. Interesting. Okay, got about a minute left for that candle. Let's have a look at what that's going to do. So got to keep the stochastic pushing up further, hopefully. Love seeing these setups. Okay, about roughly 30 seconds. Okay, 10 seconds. Let's see. 5. New candle. Still forcing it up. Beautiful. And basically just getting sideways movements. Technically, it's definitely setting up for a downwards push. 15. Still looks good. We might get that surge from half past onwards. We'll see. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. Okay. But everything's set up nicely. It's doing what it needs to do. Okay. Right, so I'm just gonna grab another quick cup of coffee. I'll join you guys in about 5 minutes. Everything else is set up. Ooh, getting a big drop there. We'll see what that does. But okay, I'll check you guys in 5 minutes. I've got my stop and my target set, so I can get up and walk away. I've got no issue with that. Okay, so if you guys want to, you can grab a cup yourself, that kind of thing. We'll be back in 5. Okay, right. Back. Stochastic still pointing up. Still getting a bit of sideways movement. So everything's looking good. I'm liking the way this is running. Should get that push happening shortly. And this is the type of intuition you tend to build up into these type of flows. Once you do it long enough, um, you really get a feel for the markets. And remember, you're never going to trade on the feelings. Never, ever, ever. You're only going to trade on set conditions that you've tested. That's the key factor to remember. Okay. Um, but you do develop a particular intuition into the charts movements and that kind of thing. And it only helps for further analysis of basically new systems and those type of things as well. Um, so definitely, it's about getting your knowledge up to scratch with in terms of knowing your indicators quite well. And it only helps you better prepare for different types of systems, different types of flows, and tweaking as well. The better you can kind of play around with the indicators, the better you can come up with tweaks and so forth for the system to start pushing it into a profitable level. I mean, remember last night's one, no entries given whatsoever with the standard choices we had. So we had to kind of tweak it. And that one tweak that we did changed the picture completely. Was awesome to see how it actually, had that start running. Um, I might actually start looking into that a little bit deeper for myself now. That's the beautiful thing about it. Um, everyone learns from one another. Everyone, looks at these things differently, and that's the thing. You're going to notice as well. You're going to have completely different strategies, from one another, from me as well, and so forth. That's what I want. I want you guys to make this your own. And when you get to that point, you're going to notice it just starts getting easier and easier. The whole fact is just making sure that that back testing gets done, because that covers that whole psychological issue that everyone tends to have within their normal trading. The fact is, when you start trading a system that you've never tested yourself, you're always doubtful about the signals that come up. You don't even have a cooking clue as to the normal type of flow it tends to have. The system might have a period where it has 10 losers in a row, and it's normal for it. But if you don't know that, you're going to start panicking as soon as you get 4 losers in a row, and you're going to start changing things and so forth, and then it's not the same system anymore. So that's the big reason why backtesting is there. And truthfully, I prefer manual backtest. I don't like running with EAs for backtest and that kind of thing. I mean, I've had a client, and unfortunately, sometimes certain people just do not listen. Even though I give all the warnings, but all the backtests that he has done was always done with EAs, and he could never, ever, ever find anything that works. It's only because he was too lazy to do the work. You know. And that's the thing. I mean, if you're gonna be lazy, well, you might as well forget it. Okay. Beautiful thing is now, obviously, all that work gets cut down to the minimum amount with manual backtesting by just using the backtesting product. So it saves so much time. Um, but the whole fact is we can spot things a lot better than what just a piece of software coding does. And that's why I believe in manual backtesting, because you can see things and see patterns while you're going through the process. And running with an EA will never show you that. It'll never show you where the problematic areas are. You pick all of those things up when doing a manual test. This is why I'm such a huge promoter of manual backtesting. It makes all the difference. I still need to see any pro trader that does not backtest. You know, there is no such thing basically. Now, that's why so many people lose money, because they don't understand those principles. That's why it's like I said, guys, the main thing for me is to make sure that you guys understand the process and you make that your own. Once you've got the process down, well, you're good to go on your own. Um, And it's like I said, a lot of clients will send me their results and that kind of thing, have me just check it out to see whether they're doing it correctly and so forth. Um, and I'm all happy to do that. And I'll make a couple of recommendations from my side as well and so forth. But you're going to notice I'm definitely going to push all of you to kind of do the work and make your own assumptions and analysis and those type of things, because the main thing for me is that you get this, that you can do this on your own. It's not going to help you if you have to continuously follow me, because the whole point is that I need you to be able to do this even when I'm not there anymore. Okay. And trust me, it makes the world of difference, because you guys will be able to trade for a lifetime and make money. That's the key thing. It's not about short profits. It's about sustainable continuity within your systems. And that's what everything comes down to. Okay, so we're getting basically the cross happening on the stochastic in the 5 minutes. We've got about just under 4 minutes left for that particular candle we're looking at to do its thing. If that pushes up high enough, we might actually get the cross not happening. So we'll just wait and see what that does. It might push the stochastic up further. So we'll just, like I said, give it time. It needs normally that bit of extra time to do its thing. 15 minute, what's that showing? That's still going. Okay, I've still got a lot of room there. Okay, 5 minute. Like I said, we just need to have it run through its cycle. Roughly 2 minutes left. It's pushing up nicely. We might see that this actually does continue going up. Yep, look there. Beautiful now. Okay, about a minute and 20 seconds. And it just needs to do its thing. Giving it the time it needs. Okay, so it seems like we've got about 30 seconds almost. Pushing down now. Okay, let's see what this does from this point. Could be interesting. How low can you go? and new candle. There you go. Okay, so what you're gonna do? Okay, now this might. Okay, we've had the cross down. This could start going down now, or we could have a little shove up, having that turn back up again. You're gonna have to wait and see. I don't really know at this point in time. Bit of iffy movement. Okay, we've got about 20 minutes left in the session. So, like I said, we're not really going to see much happening now. What I'd recommend for some of you is to just take a note of the levels that we've got. Okay, remember, okay, here we go. That's take profit, and that's where the stop loss is set. Just take a note of those numbers so that you can just put lines on your charts, and then you'd be able to keep an eye on it throughout the day to see which of the two it actually hit. Because we're probably only going to know later this evening what this has done. It might actually still even be going, later this evening. We might only get this hitting anything tomorrow. Yeah? But yeah, we'll keep an eye. We'll have a look. Looks like it's wanting to push back up. It's wanting to force that cross upwards again now. All good. Okay, so under 3 minutes before that candle closes. Let's see, what is it going to want to do? Okay, about 40 seconds before that candle closes. Let's have a look. What you gonna do? Almost time. Let's see. Boom, new candle. Come on, come on. Update with the tick. Come on, anybody. Let's see. There we go. Okay. And slowly but surely, look there, wanting to go up. Okay, let's look at the 15. Still good. Okay, and looks like it's going to start with its downward move now. Let's see. Okay, just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what's happening here. Okay, you're probably seeing this is turning red over here. This just means that price is close to our stop loss. Normally when it's 10 pips or 100 points close to our stop loss, you'd find that the stop loss section here is going to turn red. It's just warning that price is quite close to the stop loss. Okay, and then the take profit would turn green if it's 100 points or 10 pips away from target. Okay, so that's where you'd see these two flicking between red and green. Okay. Okay, got a bit of a shove upwards, turning the stochastic and the 5 up. Let's just keep an eye and see what it's going to do. Okay, so while we're waiting just to see what transpires with that, no, much bigger shove up now. Okay, all good. Any other questions from your side, guys? Anything? Okay, so it looks like everyone's fine at this point in time. Like I said, if there's anything that comes up, by all means, just give a shot. Okay, just let me know. We can tackle it. About halfway through that candle now. Big surge up now. Check that jump. Wow. Okay. Oh, there we go. You see again, before the stop got hit, we got taken out. Okay. Again, that's because of the spread. Right? So let's see. How's this setting up? I don't think we're going to get anything else happening now. There's nothing really showing. So I think that might be it for the day, actually, then. We've got about 11 minutes left before the end of the session. Maybe something pops up. I'm pretty doubtful that there's anything else that's going to pop up. But yeah, this is all normal. Okay, so that means today was not that good of a day. Two trades, two losses so far. Maybe a bit later I'll get something else popping up. Like I said, I'm going to keep an eye on my 15-minute moving average setup. So probably later the afternoon I could have an entry coming up. I'm just going to need to wait for everything else to match up beautifully. Once it does, then we can go. But these are normal, guys. These types of days are normal. Okay, there's nothing to worry about when you get these types of flows happening, or you get taken out on some of your entries for the day. In other words, losing on the day and that kind of thing. It's all part of the game. You've got to be fine with the losers. Okay, we're playing an odds-based game. We never know when we're going to get them or how often we're going to get them in a row. The key factor is as long as the odds are in your favor, none of that should matter. The odds will only be proven to you with the back test. Okay, so yeah, that one, we're probably going to see that downward shove happening now. Yeah, but it's a standard thing with this type of setup. It always tends to, at least take you out once. Sometimes it takes you out twice and then goes. But it actually sets up for another part or piece of divergence. Okay, so this is why I say we might get something else, but I'm doubtful of that because we've only got about 9 minutes left now. So yeah, we just need to keep an eye and look at what might be transpiring. Okay, but it's definitely going to come to the end of the session for my stochastic setup. I'll obviously still be running with my moving average setup because that one gets ran from 9 to 5. Okay. All good, William. Thanks for joining up. And yeah, I'll see you then this evening. Okay. Great stuff. Okay. Like I said, for the rest, if there's any questions that you've got, by all means, shoot away. Because yeah, I don't think we're going to have anything happening entry-wise, that kind of thing now, with the way the markets are flowing now. So if there's any questions, shoot. Don't be afraid to ask. It's what I'm here for. About 3 minutes before that candle finishes up. See, the only thing is there's no new setup of divergence happening for the downward side, so I don't think there's anything that's really going to come up. 15, not really going to see anything. See, that's now trying to make a shove up, but there's no way I'd trade that as divergence at all. Pity because that's too level. And nothing else is set up, so 5 minute. I'm not really going to see much now. Okay, so it looks like all of you are still happy. I haven't got any new questions. And that one really doesn't know what it wants to do, eh? That's looks like we're going to get a small doji here. Okay, we've got about a minute roughly left before that candle closes. Going to be interesting to see what that one actually wants to do. And it's pushing up a lot higher there. Getting to those previous levels. And new candle. Okay, so yeah, like I said, there's not really anything being set up. Nothing actually going to happen. Okay, so you can see that it's actually setting up for a bullish trend now on the 5 minute. Okay, because everything's setting up according to the 3 MA system there. But I traded the 3 MA system on a 15-minute time scale, so it's going to take a little bit longer before we get that happening on the 15-minute charts. It's still a bit, how to say, in consolidation on the 15. You can see there, that's why it's yellow over there. Okay, so we need to get the lines matching up, that kind of thing. It'll only happen quite a couple of candles later. This is why we're probably only going to get anything happening later the afternoon, okay, for that system in particular. So if I do get a winner, let's say I get an entry and I get a winner later the afternoon, it's actually going to end up being a profitable day, okay, because it's two losers with a loss of 2%, and that one winner would be a 3% winner. So I'll be in profit by about 1%, minus just the slight cost of the trade, the spread, obviously. Okay. So that's why I say you should never really worry that much about what's happening, with your days, with trading, that kind of thing. You're always going to get losers every now and then. Sometimes we've got cycles where even the week can be bad. Um, it's all relative to the flow of the system and the flow of the markets. Okay, but yeah, that's pushing up there. Okay, let's see. Okay, great stuff, Tony. Perfect. See you this evening as well. Okay. Not like I said, there's not much that's going to happen now, so I'll then definitely see most of you probably again this evening. Okay. Like I said, yeah, we've got about 3 minutes before that candle finishes up. Then we're going to be at the end of our session. But all good stuff, Tony. I'll check you later this evening. I'll send you afterwards the details and so forth that you're looking for to get the platform up and running and so forth. Um, all good, Bevan. Thanks for joining on, man. Appreciate it. Love to see your commitment and that kind of thing, man. That's all I'm ever asking for. It's just the commitment from you guys. So well done. Okay. Like I said, we've got about 2.5 minutes before we cut off. If there's any questions that you'd like to just pop in before we kind of log off, now's the time to do it. Keyboard is the thing with the buttons in front of you. Okay, looks like everyone is still happy then. That's all good. Okay, so the 15 minutes not really showing anything. 5 minute, that's probably still pushing up, maybe slightly coming down. Let's just have a check. Yeah, sort of a doji there. Like I said, but it's not producing anything as of yet. Oh, pushing back up again. 2 minutes before the end of the session. Slowly but surely starting to have that downwards push. All of a sudden now it's wanting to push down. Funny how it always happens at the end of the candle. How far can that go? It'll be interesting to see. Probably not going to be a big shove. Probably only happen after that. Okay, about a minute left before we finish with the session. Like I said, there's nothing that's going to happen now. We're not going to be getting into a new trade or anything like that. I'll definitely be keeping my eyes open for the rest of the day, looking for the 3 MA setup. So at this point in time, there's nothing really actually happening. Okay. So yeah, all in all, that's it basically for the session then, guys. Thanks for joining though. Okay, appreciate it as always with everyone logging on, putting in the time and that kind of thing. Love seeing that. Remember, if you did kind of miss the session, you can always just check the replay by just using the normal registration link afterwards. Um, and yeah, if there's any other questions that do pop up, guys, by all means, you can send me an email as well. But other than that, yeah, we're basically done with the session then. Okay. And I'll see most of you then this evening. Okay. Cheers, guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.